Hi guys, this is the first of the craft videos for summer of 2020. I hope you've been having a fun summer and have been staying safe. Okay, in your kit that you picked up from school, you got a board that looks kind of like this, and you got a package of all different kinds of construction paper. Now I just cut these squares just so I could get them in the Ziploc bag. And there's lots of different ways you can do this project. And I did this one using the squares as a background and then overlapping them, and I'll show you how I did that in just a minute. And then you've also got some die cut little shapes. They're kind of random. Every kit doesn't have the same shape. Some of you have little flowers, some of you have a cross, some of you have a hand or a star, butterfly, heart. I can't remember what all I put in that kit. But then after you get the background done, you can lay these die cuts on here any way you want. So I did this one, and then I got a big idea to do the same thing and then put some glitter on these butterflies and then cover it up with the solution I'm going to show you how to make. That turned out kind of cool. Now as we do the project, see, notice how these are kind of hanging over? As we do the project, you'll have pieces of paper hanging over the edge, and then we'll just turn it over and we'll cut off the extra just like this. And then you have a nice clean edge on your work. That's how come this one is so nice and clean. Another way you can do this, and I got to messing with this yesterday. I had to make myself stop because I like this so much. I just wanted to keep going. I found some old wrapping paper. This is something we wrapped something from Milo in, and what, coincidentally enough, this other old gift wrapping paper I found, this was, we bought for Dawn and Danica's wedding because their wedding had all these neat patterns. Well, anyway, you can use wrapping paper, you can use any paper you've got around the house. You can take this construction paper that's in your kit and tear it into little shapes, and I'm kind of digging the way that's looking. Now this is going to be my background, and then I'll pick some pieces to put over the top of it. So let's get started. You will need the paintbrush. Where did mine get to? You'll need the paintbrush out of your watercolor kit, which will do the job just fine. Some kind of a vessel with just a little bit, maybe less than 1/8 of a cup of water in there. And you will need your school glue. So let's make our glue solution. You guys have done this before. I think that in my classroom and in some of your homerooms, you've done similar projects using tissue paper. It's the same concept. Should have had this, oh, there we go. That glue coming out there. It's the same concept, but we're just using construction paper. Now after you get your glue and your water together, you need to mix it up pretty good so that you don't have a bunch of lumps. Now this glue will dry relatively clear, so it'll go on kind of white looking. There we go, just enough water to make it fluid. See how it kind of drips like that? Okay, now we're ready to start putting stuff on here. And I'm going to continue with this one that I started on the other day. Let me see, here's interesting color. I've got red and red. Maybe I want some more red over here. So if you decide you want to lay your squares on there as they're cut, or you might want to tear them. So for this one, I'm tearing it, and since I want it to look kind of rough, I'm tearing off the cut edge on all of this. And there's a piece, and that's going to be hanging over the edge like that. Okay, you need to put glue on the surface first. Quite a bit. You can't be chintzy with this because it's going to soak into the paper. Then you're going to lay your paper on top of it, get it where you want it, and then put more glue on top of that. Lots of glue. And this will soak into the paper, and if it starts curling up, my wrapping paper kind of curled up on the edges, and I'll show you what I did to keep that from happening. I kept fooling with it and kept fooling with it, and finally I came up with an idea. So let's say I want to use, oh, do I have any more of that teddy bear? That was so cute. I didn't have very much of it left. I think I used it all. Okay, we'll use some of this black and white. So I'm going to tear me a piece of this. And I think I want it right under my little bear's cute little smile here. So I'm going to put some right there, about as big as the piece. Lay it on there how you want it. I don't want to cover up too much of his chin. Just enough to, and then put it on top. This teddy bear paper curled up on me real bad. And this one curled up some. But let me show you this. I took a piece of construction paper and tore it and laid it over the edges of the teddy bear paper and then put lots of glue on there, and it took care of the curling problem. Okay, now that piece is done. Let me see, I want blue, so I'm going to tear me a small piece of blue to go in this little hole here. For this style, I want to make sure all the edges, you guys are really good at tearing stuff up. This will be fun for you. It's almost not big enough, but I'm going to put it on there anyway. I already had glue underneath, so I'm going to slop some on top here, making sure I get lots on the edges. Then let's get another little piece. See, this is real forgiving. You can just kind of slop things on there and it's going to turn out looking cool. I do want to tell you a couple of things that I did besides the glitter. After you get it all done, if you decide you want to do glitter like I did on this one here, I took my glitter and just kind of did like this and made sure I didn't have any off of the butterfly. Just kind of take your finger and flick it off, and then very carefully put your glue, kind of blop your glue. It's going to pick up your glitter with your brush a little bit. Just make sure it all gets back on the butterfly. And you paint that whole thing like that, and then you have a glittery butterfly. Okay, back to this one. Let me see. Now when you get done with your background and you want to put your other shapes on top of it, let's say I decide I want this little orange flower up here. Once again, even if this is all dry, you've got to wet it really well. Make sure I've only got one flower there. Yeah, it felt kind of thick. And then lots of glue on top of it. This is a real addicting project. Like I said, I had to make myself stop when I was working on this sample yesterday to get ready to make the video for you guys. Okay, I think I've covered everything. This is a relatively short video, but you get the idea, and you can just do all kinds of stuff. You may have leftover paper and have some other boards or pieces of cardstock at home, and you could make lots of these. You could even take some of this paper and cut out letters and make your name across there, or as a gift for someone else, you could cut out letters and make their name across after you do your background. In your kit also you got the dragon project that we had for our Lutheran Schools Week project, and I just threw that in because I had lots of leftovers. So if you want to color and make another dragon, the instructions are right there on the sheet. Okay, remember to praise God, stay inspired, and keep making art.